Joe, this is my new Tennessee home, and I just thought I'd take you a walkabout and show you what happened from the frost we got. We got 2 days of frost last week. This is my turmeric, and if you can see, it's pretty much done. Particularly since I think it's like Monday or Tuesday, maybe it's Tuesday, we're going to have like 29 degrees, so I'm going to have to dig that up. Here's my green beans that I really thought was going to get bit, and it did. But if thinking I might actually break down and try to cover these Monday and Tuesday, because look here, my blooms are all still doing really well. It's trying to make some beans. So if I could just make it through this next little freeze we got coming, maybe I'll get some beans out of this mess. Yeah, I need to go through and pick off all these spent leaves that are not doing anything. Now here I was surprised. These are pole beans. And I've had these have been growing for quite a while. But if you'll look, it's only a couple of leaves got a little bit bit. But for the most part, they suffered through that 30, I think it was like 32, 33 degrees, but it did frost. And then here I have another turmeric. And yeah, and there's one that needs to come up. These need to come up, but they really haven't grown long enough to have good roots, so I don't know. It's kind of a failed experiment. I planted them late. They took forever to sprout. I might try to do it again next year. Only maybe start them in the greenhouse early or something. Look at this. This carrot right here. It's going to seed. Can you believe that? The carrot's going to seed. I'm going to let it. I'll save the seed. I dug up my sweet potatoes. I still got like arugula in here that's growing. It volunteered. But let me show you what happened with my sweet potatoes. I got voles. My cat, bless her heart, has actually caught 3 of them for me and left them in the yard. But obviously there must be more. I even put, look here, see? I even put hardware cloth underneath and around. But you know them silly voles? They climbed right up and over, and in they went. Yep. You can see some of the roots left over. Let me show you my pitiful sweet potato crop. Now this is absolutely pathetic. I mean, I went ahead and picked a bunch of jalapenos. I got more outside. But, I mean, they gnawed off the ends. A bunch of them, like that one, they ate out of. And hard telling how many of the potatoes they actually ate to nothing, because this is just not very many potatoes for that space. Matter of fact, it's not nearly enough. I've gotten way more than that in the past. So I've got to do something about the rodents. Voles and rats. They're awful. That pretty girl right there, she is a rat and vole killer. She's just one little cat though. Tried to get her a buddy. My daughter brought a cat that she needed to get rid of, and we kept it up overnight. Opened up the cage, and it's gone this morning, so that's probably doesn't like it here. Ava, she really doesn't mind cats. She gets along with them pretty good. It's a wonder it's gone. Anyway, I'm thinking I'm going to get a sheet and wrap it around at least one of these roselles to see if I can get it through this next hardcore cold spell, because looky here. I mean, it's actually finally making buds. But it would take at least a couple of weeks for it to make flowers and calyxes, so we'll see. And then got my lemongrass. I'm going to chop it off. It won't overwinter here. And I'm over it. Oh, here, look. It's finally starting to go to flower. That's a chia. Going to flower with a freeze coming next week. Of course, of course, of course. Anyway, this is what happens when you push the envelope, sometimes it busts. Yeah, see, this one's putting on little buds too. It's gonna make flowers. I laid this tarp out here. I'm gonna leave it on there all winter. Kill off this weedy stuff. I mean, this is the weediest. It's really bad ground. Anyway, threw a bunch of amendments under there, and I'm trying to kill it off and see if maybe I can't have a decent patch of something in here next year. Yeah, these chias are going to, they're going to flower too. Wow, hold still, I'm trying to get a picture of you. I just don't know if they'll make it. Here's the other thing that freeze took out. My peppers. I went down through here and picked them all. Most all. I mean, obviously, I didn't get them all. But anyway, oh my, there's a big one. I want to get him. Anyway, yep, took out my peppers. I've got some grain growing in here. Don't know if it'll make or not. That corn, it got bit. It wasn't destined to make it anyway. I planted it late. Yeah, and it's a little lower down here. This roselle right here, you can tell, because it's a little bit lower elevation, the frost sets in here. It just decimated this roselle. So I don't figure it's going to make anything there. These beans, this bean tunnel, it's still hanging in there. And as you can see, still putting on beans, so I'll come through and pick some. Some of them I'm letting go ahead and go to seed. I'm letting get good and big. Like these scarlet runner beans. I'm letting them go ahead and go to seed so I can gather the seeds. These purple pole beans, I'm letting them go to seed so I can gather the seed. I've got some I got some rattlesnake beans down through there, and some greasy beans down through there that I'm also letting go to seed. I've got this one volunteer Jerusalem artichoke, and I'm going to dig it up and see if I can't find all the little nodules underground, because I really don't want it growing here, but I let it grow since it came up there. And then I've got, still got the collards and kale growing. It'll probably make it through the frost. They're pretty frost hardy. And I still have some spindly little tomatoes that are still putting on a tomato here and there. So I'm just letting them go till they completely die. I picked a bunch of green tomatoes and put together a green tomato with some red tomato and chili pepper, Tabasco, green pepper, onion, salsa, ferment. Anyway, hopefully good. And then here's this Christmas lima bean, and you can see some of it got bit, but a lot of it didn't. So once it dies back, I'll see. It was down close to the ground where the frost was, got bit, but up here it didn't. Anyway, so I'll wait till it dies back, and then I'll whatever beans it made out of it. They're pretty beans. They're Christmas lima beans. I got them from Haas Tool. They're hopefully I get a bunch of them. I had such a problem with deer and rabbits all summer. I planted these. These are Waltham butternut. I planted them and some beans late. I've already pulled up a bunch of the beans, but I planted them up here and I planted them late, so I really don't think they're going to mature enough to even use. They'll be good chicken feed. Anyway, this is my Tennessee home. I've been gathering acorns on top of everything else. My oak trees are just loaded I mean, absolutely loaded. I've got 3 or 4 big oak trees and then a few other ones. And I just go around, especially when it's windy, and collect them. Here, let me show you. Okay, I've already given my daughter about 3 bags like this for her pigs. But I have this bag, and it's every bit of 40 pounds of acorns in there. And then I've got these that I gathered yesterday, and these are off the granddaddy oak tree. I mean, they're really nice size oak acorns. Anyway, but I got them. They got wet, so I'm going to try and let them dry out. Hopefully, it's starting to clear up. It's rained for 2 days, so hope they just don't all sprout. If they do, I guess I'll be feeding them quick. I also took some and chunked them out of their shell and chopped them up and leached out the tannins and stuff, and I actually made some little nut chunks and put in some cookies. Let me show you those. Okay, they're oatmeal, and that's little pieces of acorn, and they're really crunchy and nutty. They're not bitter at all because I soaked them and leached them out, and I put cranberries in them. Anyway, I made those. I've got grandkids coming down tomorrow, and then there's some plain ones in case they're not too into the fruit and nut. But I'm going to do some more acorns, I think. Okay, so in addition to splitting some and taking the nut and leaching out the tannins and using for my processes, and giving them to my daughter for her pigs, they're free. All I had to do is spend a little bit of time collecting them. My goats like them. Now, being that they've got a pretty high tannin content, fresh like this, I don't give them very many. I give them about, I don't know, a handful a piece a day in their feed, and they love them. Deer love them, and goats are just kind of like domesticated deer, so yeah, they got a lot of high fat content, high protein, and all kinds of nutrients, so they got to be good. Anyway, and they're free. That's the thing. Free, free, free. I'm all about trying to become more self-sustainable to where I don't have to spend money because I don't have a lot of money. Anyway, this is my new Tennessee home, and this is after the freeze, and yeah, I put a couple of these sweet potatoes in little pots, and you can tell that freeze got them too, so it's a good thing I dug them up. Anyway, I'll talk to y'all later.